Hello, and thank you for joining us today for part 4 of our Intro to Yoga video series. Today we're going to talk about meditation. So what is meditation, Carrlee?
Well, thanks for asking, Chris. To me, meditation is the ability and the practice to be able to be with yourself without doing anything and also without judging yourself. What about you? What does meditation mean to you?
When I think about meditation, I think of it as a tool that we use to help focus our minds so that we can find clarity. So what are some of the benefits?
Some of the benefits. Why do we need meditation? Because we live in a crazy, stressful, and high-paced environment, fast-paced, and we really need meditation to help us slow down. We are oftentimes going, doing, and when we are in meditation, we can just be. So some of the benefits, and there is a long list if you just Google it, but some of them are that it reduces stress and anxiety. Could all use more of that.
Yep.
Lengthens your attention span, which us as well as children could definitely use more of that. Gaining new perspective on stressful situations. I think that is so key because we meditate to feel calm, but we also meditate to take those benefits off of our meditation cushion. And I think gaining a new perspective on a stressful situation is a really invaluable resource that you can actually start to give to yourself just through your meditation practice.
Yeah, and being able to look at a similar situation from a new light, even if something that you've done 100 times, being able to see that from that new way gives understanding of why you do certain things.
Definitely. It also helps to improve your sleep and decrease your blood pressure, so that's helpful. And then these benefits I think are really interesting because they have there's been tons of research done on meditation, and they can actually see the mass of your brain shifting and changing while you meditate and after having a meditation practice. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. So it decreases activity in the brain in the default mode network. So this is the part of the brain that's the wandering mind. It's where our automatic self-talk is. And so it actually decreases the activity in that area of our brain. So in yoga, we talk about the monkey mind, that it's just going from branch to branch to branch all over the place. And when we meditate, when we have a meditation practice, it can help our mind stay more focused, stay more in the present versus just going on to those automatic places. So that's very cool. And it also decreases the brain cell volume in your amygdala, which is our fear or stress response center. So a lot of us in today's society are living in that fight or flight response mode all the time because our phone is ringing and startling us, or we have people calling us with stressful situations going on. We have our boss calling us, telling us you got to come into work early, you got to stay late. We're in the car, and just being in a car can be a very stressful environment. So if you can decrease the activity in your amygdala, actually decreases the brain cell volume, that is very beneficial for your body to be in more of a rest and digest state and just feel calmer overall. Last one of the benefits for this video is that it increases the cortical thickness of your hippocampus, which is your learning and memory center. So it actually makes that center in your brain larger, which is incredible. So you can learn more information, and not only can you learn it, but you can recall it easier as well. So lots of physical benefits in our body happening from meditation, but I would also like to point out that spiritual benefits can't be measured in a scientific study, but we know that it's having spiritual benefits because it's having benefits on our physical body. So therefore, we're also getting those spiritual benefits as well. Want to go into how we meditate?
Sure. So we're going to talk about a number of techniques, but before we get to that, we're going to talk about some of the other practical stuff of it, of where, when, how, the positioning of our systems. So the beautiful thing about meditation is we can do it anywhere, anytime, for any set period of time. So as long as you're breathing, you can meditate. A beautiful way to get into it is start with shorter periods of time. 5 minutes is a great starting spot to be able to just sit for 5 minutes. We all have 5 minutes in our day to be able to sit and breathe. It's a beautiful place to start. But the longer you meditate for, the more you have to be aware of your surroundings. So when we start to meditate, we want to try and find quieter spaces. If you have pets, if they can sit quietly, let them sit quietly. If they constantly run around and jump on you, maybe put them in their kennel or in another room if they're safe there.
Making sure they've been fed in the morning.
Or they're gone out. If you have children, if someone else is able to watch the children for that period of time, or they're able to do something on their own for that period of time, even if they're in the next room and you can still see them, it's still somewhat of a distance to space yourself from that.
I also, for moms especially, or parents in general, the bathroom is a great place to meditate because that is an area where usually you can block everybody out of, locking the door, mom's taking a long poop, and you're sitting. I tell a lot of my mom clients this, that you close the bathroom door, you lock it, you sit on the bathroom floor, and you breathe for 5 minutes. Or even you're like sitting on the toilet and you're breathing. Even that is a great place to start, of like just getting a little bit of quiet time for yourself. An ideal time to meditate is in the morning. So before you get going for the day, if you can start your day with meditation, is ideal because your mind hasn't quite woken up fully yet. It's not all the way on the to-do list yet. It's not doing the dishes, doing the laundry, making breakfast. You're still just waking up, so your mind is a bit more open and clear.
And also hasn't been influenced by your day, by other people, or by other visual stimulus.
So our recommendation in an ideal environment would be to wake up, go to the bathroom, maybe have some water, and then just sit to meditate right away. Even if that is just for 5 minutes, that's still an improvement. And it's giving your mind the space that it needs to begin its day. I've heard the metaphor that meditation is like a shower for the mind. So we tend to our physical bodies, usually every day. So when we meditate, it's like that self-care for the mind. Positioning. So in an ideal world, you would be sitting straight up. I like to sit on the floor because I feel connected to the earth, but a lot of times in the mornings we will sit on the couch. If you need to lay down, it's certainly possible and doable, but if you are like first waking up in the morning and then you lay back down to meditate, the tendency is to fall asleep, and that's not what we're going for. So if you need to lay down because your back hurts you, please do so, but maybe you do it a little bit later in the morning when you're more awake. But feel free to sit in a chair. You don't have to sit on the floor. Sit in any position that's most comfortable for your body, not to be a distraction.
And you're also looking to be comfortable, so wearing any clothing that feels comfortable. A lot of times people find nice places outside, but you also have to be mindful of mosquitoes, especially down here in the Keys. Other things that will make your environment uncomfortable. So any sounds, any other visual stimulus, there's a light flashing somewhere, there's anything around you. It's like setting your space to help encourage your meditation.
Setting yourself up for success. I know, like I never meditate with like tight pants on because that I can just like feel it digging in, and that is not comfortable. Definitely your mind goes to, like my body feels uncomfortable. Our mind will go towards absolutely anything it can during meditation to not be focusing on what we want to be focusing on.
And a little tip there is if you constantly are thinking about, my knee hurts or my hip hurts, just move and then be able to settle yourself. Move enough to make yourself comfortable and be able to be comfortable from there, and then go back into your meditation. Because if not, you're going to be constantly thinking about that hip or a piece of clothing or whatever it is for the whole duration.
And that's not very calming for the mind. It's usually like an irritation, which is the opposite effect of what we're trying to achieve when we meditate.
Yep.
So
some
that
techniques.
pretty much covers everything.
Yeah, move through some techniques.
Yeah. You want to go into maybe
So-
talking about the mantra?
Sure. Well, let's talk about. There's two different kinds of meditation that we refer to. There's a focused attention and an open monitoring. Carrlee actually brought the idea of the open monitoring meditation to my attention about 2 years ago, and I love the idea and the concept of it. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Chris will talk about the focused attention, which is more of the techniques that we think of when we think of meditation.
Yeah.
But open monitoring is just sitting and observing. So this is definitely something that you can do at any point throughout the day. The focused attention meditation is nice to do more in the mornings. But open monitoring can be whenever. So if you're at work and you're feeling a bit stressed, go to the bathroom, close your eyes, just sit there and just notice. All you're doing is just noticing what's happening in your mind. So it's as if you're watching a movie that's happening in your mind. And when we watch a movie, we can't reach into the screen and be like, oh, I'm going to tell you to do this or do that. We can't control things. We're just watching. And so that is the goal of open monitoring, is to take a neutral position and set aside any judgment or engagement with the thoughts. So the thought comes up that, oh, what are we going to have for dinner? I'm going to need to stop by Winn-Dixie. Okay, I'm going to need to get blah, blah, blah. So when that thought comes up, oh, I need to make dinner, noticing it and then letting it go by, not following that rabbit trail. So to sum it up, open monitoring is just taking a neutral position as an observer, and you're just watching without engaging.
And a great place to practice your open monitoring is during your Shavasana. As you come to your Shavasana, we often say just let those thoughts come and go, and that's what you're doing. You're doing an open monitoring meditation during it.
Yeah, not trying to control anything. So the thoughts come, you let them be, and just let them go. I like to also picture just clouds floating by, just watching them float by.
So we're going to talk about some other, some focused attention or some other forms of meditation that we often think about when we hear the term meditation. So when we talk about a focused attention, we can focus our thoughts or our mind on something. It could be an object, a color. It could be our breath. A beautiful one is if you have a hard time staying focused when you close your eyes, you can place a candle in front of you and let your focus be on that candle or an image in front of you. A lot of times people take an image of a deity or an image that they refer or they connect with for a Godhead figure and just meditate on that image. We can also use a mantra, a phrase. It could be a positive affirmation. It could be anything, but allowing it to be positive and fulfilling. A lot of the mantras that we use in yoga are in Sanskrit, or just different names or different words used for God. When we talk about mantra, we can just have the thought of the mantra, or we can find it in repetition. And when we start doing a repetition of a mantra, that's when we get into a technique called japa meditation, which is just the constant repetition of the mantra. So you can do that in a number of different ways. You can just keep repeating the mantra out loud or in your mind. A nice technique is you can use a mala. If I can get this off, I should have thought of that before. Is the mantra, the way that we use a mala for a japa meditation, is you'll just move the bead and say the mantra one time for each bead. So, I am love, I am love, I am love. And just keeps going over and over and over.
And when you're using the mala, it's a great way to keep track of time, because most malas will have a guru bead or like a tassel to mark that you've gone from one end all the way to the other, and then you'll know your meditation is over.
So if you don't want to use a timer with a bell, you can just say, I'm going to go through this one time with my mantra or with my affirmation or whatever it is. And when you get to the other end, you're like, all right, that's the end of my meditation for today. So that time may vary based on how active or how calm your mind is too.
And you can also combine, if you are doing a japa meditation, the focused attention, you can combine that with the open monitoring. So after you complete your japa, then you just sit maybe for however long, and just notice what's going on. The open monitoring comes in after.
Yep. Also, with our japa meditation, another form or another way we use it is with kirtan, or the mantra meditation music. So the kirtan is just repeating that mantra over and over and over, but we're chanting, we're singing. We have a lot of times instruments. We will have our harmonium or kartals or something else with it. All of those are great techniques. There's another awesome technique for focused attention meditation. That's a guided meditation. So we're allowing the control of where the meditation goes to be controlled by someone else. It can be in person with someone else speaking, or it can be a recording. You can record a meditation yourself and play it back to yourself. It's a little awkward at first, but you'll get used to it.
Some people like that.
Some people like it. So there's a number of different kinds of meditations. There's just a standard guided meditation. You can search guided meditation online on YouTube, on any of the apps, and you have hundreds and thousands of different guided meditations. And
we'll link ours down below.
Yep. Also, there's a loving kindness meditation. I'll let Carrlee talk a little bit about that. Just briefly.
Yeah, so you can definitely look it up for more details, but loving kindness starts with giving love to yourself, wishing love and kindness towards yourself. Then you start to go outwards, so you go towards the people you love. May they feel love, feel kindness, be happy and free. And then you go to people you don't know, so like people that are neutral to you, maybe like the person at the grocery store or at a gas station, or people that collect your trash. Like, may they be happy and free, may they feel loving kindness. And then you extend it even further out to people that bother you, so people that irritate you or piss you off, like may they also be happy and free and feel loving kindness. And they say that it's a process, so first we start with ourselves, then with people we love, then with people that are neutral, and then with people that are irritating. So I think for a lot of us, actually, it could be easier to start with people that we love and then go to ourselves, because a lot of us struggle with self-love. But that is the loving kindness meditation, and you repeat it over and over. May I feel this, may they, keep going on.
Another beautiful form of guided meditation is yoga nidra, often referred to as yogic sleep. So that one has a very specific format to it. You're trying to let your body be completely relaxed while keeping your mind active and aware on where you're being guided. We have we have one of those online. I could probably record a few more. But any of these techniques is a great way to get started. A guided meditation is a beautiful way to get started into a focused attention, because you're not having to do the focus. All you're having to do is listen and follow the person who's guiding you.
Another focused attention, and something that you can do with kids as well, is just selecting an object from nature. It could be, like, I have a crystal here, and there's so many different facets that you can look at. Like, if you hold it close, you can really look at all the different details, the different colors. You can feel the different textures. You can see if it has a smell to it. And so this is kind of like a mindfulness technique, but it can also be considered a meditation if all I'm going to do, you can set a timer for the next 5 minutes, is focus on this object and just notice this object. And that's also something fun with kids, is just collecting different leaves or sticks or rocks, shells, anything from nature. And even it doesn't have to be from nature, but I think that is fun. And then just taking time to observe that, because all your attention is just on this. So that's another fun thing to do, and that's also something that you could do anytime. Like, if you're just sitting in traffic, obviously if you're stopped, just focusing on something, and even something as simple as your palm. Like, there's so many different lines on it if you really look at it, and you're just noticing what you're observing. So it's the same thing that we're doing inside of our mind, but as human beings, it's nice to have something tangible to look at. I also wanted to mention that as you're starting a meditation practice, it's really nice to have an altar or a sacred space that you've created for yourself to go to and know that this is my meditation space. So it helps on a physical level by triggering the brain when we go to that certain place. Okay, I know I'm going to meditate. So your mind is already going into that meditative state just by you being there. It's the same as having like a bedtime routine. Oh, okay, I'm starting to brush my teeth. The lights are going down. I'm smelling this oil. I know it's time for bed. Your mind starts to get your body to a place where it's ready to rest. So creating an altar is something it can be very simple. So you can just collect a few natural objects, a candle, like Chris had a picture of something that inspires you spiritually, maybe letters from someone you love. Can be anything that you find sacred, and it can be just something small, and then you create that little space. So some people do it in a closet, maybe a small corner of the room, somewhere that feels like it's out of the way for you, out of the way of the busyness of your home, but that's a place that you can go, and that's where you go to meditate. I find that is very helpful in creating a habit and a ritual out of meditating, if that's possible. Not necessary, but fun and helpful. Anything else you want to say? I also did want to say one other thing, is that you can also bring meditation into your daily activities through practicing mindfulness. So even when you're washing the dishes, you can allow all your focus to be on washing the dishes. That I'm grateful for this soap. I'm grateful for this bowl that held the soup that I ate that nourished my body. You can be mindful while you're on a walk by focusing on your breath, focusing on how the body moves. And that can maybe be another video we do if you guys are interested in that. But that is definitely the goal of when we meditate. It isn't just to like sit, it is to sit there and breathe, but it is also to bring in the benefits into our daily lives, so that when we're in an intense conversation, that we have a different way to look at it. I'm observing how I'm feeling, I'm observing how they're feeling, and I'm not reacting, I'm just observing. So that
it allows us to take that step removed to see that situation, to see how we respond in the middle of the situation.
Rather than being involved in it, we can take that observer standpoint. So we'd like to close with just saying that ultimately, meditation is a sacred space that you go to connect with your true self, your true nature, which is soul. And your soul is a small quantity with all the same qualities of God or of Source. And yoga teaches that those qualities are Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat meaning eternal, Chit meaning fixed in truth or full of knowledge, having access to all knowledge, and Ananda meaning blissful. So when we meditate, we're really overall, in a spiritual sense, trying to connect with that true essence of who we are, connecting to Source. And I also like to think that we're connecting with every human being on this planet, every being on this planet, when we do that, because we all have a soul. If we're alive, breathing, we have a soul. And when we connect to ours, we're connecting to everyone. So, awesome. Thanks for joining us today. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.
If there's any specific types of meditation that you want us to record, please put a little note below or message us. Have a great, beautiful day, and
Namaste.
Namaste.
See you next time.